Welcome to the Bad Tutors Podcast. If you're here for the newest, up-to-date, accurate information on the nerdy topics that are near and dear to your heart, well, let me tell you, you ended up in the wrong place. Here, we're all about hot takes and grandiose displays of misinformation. So stick along for the ride, and you might just blow a blood vessel or two. So, Ian, everyone knows I have two addictions. Girls with tattoos and Magic the Gathering.
I was going to say red flags, but you can phrase that how you want.
We're going to talk about the second one today. And more specifically, we're going to talk about Universes Beyond, the boogeyman of everyone's favorite game. So first, let's explain a couple things. Magic the Gathering, as a card game, takes place across multiple planes. All of them have a unique theme or different technological advances or, just a setting or, mechanics, whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of variance between both the actual sets that they're a part of as well as the themings of the world. Yeah,
and all of them have more or less a magical feel, like fantasy. So my feelings on what feels like magic might differ from others because I started playing Magic seriously in the Return to Ravnica, like quote-unquote block, right after Amonkhet came out. And then
right after I started looking into Magic a little bit more seriously in that case, because I started looking right around Amonkhet.
Yeah.
I didn't continue to play seriously, but that's when I started getting into Magic.
Yeah, and so some of the boomers might have a very concrete idea of what Magic looks like to them, but to me it's always just sort of been, after Ravnica we go plane to plane to plane to plane after each standard set. So the first sort of criticisms of Universes Beyond, which I will henceforth refer to as UB, is going to be the feel that people have. So when we talk about the feeling of Magic, and we're talking about UB, there are some valid points, okay? The most obvious would be other intellectual properties in Magic the Gathering. Some people don't like the idea of Ryu from Street Fighter being in the game, as it's weird or non-magic. And when me and you talk about this, there's just intrinsic values that people like to see in a game or don't like to, and there's things that they are going to tolerate and things that they aren't going to tolerate. And that's personal to each player. The other issues with IPs being in there is that when you're looking at Universes Beyond, you might be like, why is there Fortnite secret layers? But then you really like Lord of the Rings. And so now a Lord of the Rings set came out, which is all Universes Beyond. Do you still hate Universes Beyond? Or were you just waiting for an IP that you like to get in there?
Exactly. Currently, one of my favorite IPs, Warhammer 40k, is part of Universes Beyond and the set in a way of 4 commander decks that they released. And my second biggest IP that I'm into, Fallout, is now also going to be part of Universes Beyond. I believe also in commander decks. I'm not sure if we've had
that's still up in the air. It's probably going to be like the commander set.
Yeah. So I obviously like them, and I have other reasons that I like UB stuff as well, but I can see issues coming up with people and understand why they don't like it.
Yeah. So one of our best friends and one of my roommates first got into Magic because of Street Fighter cards being released. Yeah. His second commander deck was a Ken Burning Brawler deck that just fucking wrecks, claps our cheeks every time we play against it.
It certainly does.
And so he has no problem with UB cards. He actually puts as many as possible into that Ken deck just as a joke. Now, I originally didn't like UV cards. But I was more upset that they were black bordered and eternal formats legal instead of just silver bordered cards. Mostly because
I know you just explained that to me a second ago. You want to give a quick synopsis of what eternal means, though?
Yeah, so the eternal formats are whenever a card is put into that format, it won't ever rotate out. So these are, let's see, Commander, Legacy, Modern, Vintage, Oathbreaker. I think those are the eternal formats. And then there's also like 2 that are online through MTGA, but I don't fucking care about that. Alchemy and Historic. But yeah, so originally I was like upset because make them silver bordered cards. That way, if somebody wants to play with them, they can find people that are okay with playing with them. But then I have to admit I came around on the idea a little bit, because I'll be damned if I don't build an Ezio Auditore deck or an Edward Kenway deck or both from the upcoming Assassin's Creed Universes Beyond. So that's just an example. You'll find the IP that you are in love with, and it'll get put into Magic, and now you get to play with that too. And what is, in my opinion, unarguably the best card game that's out there.
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost
the one that's the most concrete and is the most consistently good.
And it's very complex, and you can do so many different things. It's just truly the best card game, and so I want to be able to play Ezio in that. So let's set that aside for a second. Let's talk about the other aspect that people don't love in terms of the feel of Magic the Gathering, and that's technology. So technology in Magic the Gathering is something people have always either felt strongly about or not cared about at all. Some people don't want guns in their game of wizards and swords and monsters, and that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
If you just started slapping like, AK-47s into the world of Magic, it would be very out of place and very whiplash. That being said, I do want to point out a few instances of canonically introduced planes where technology has gone further than Magic and Swords. And the first one we just talked about.
Because I was going to point that out as well, because I've heard that argument of like when 40K came out of like guns don't belong in Magic the Gathering, and like I'm not going to say that there isn't a difference between a 40K bolter and the muskets that we can see in canonical cards in... Oh god, I'm not going to remember the set, but I know that there are cards that have released in standard Magic sets where people clearly have guns.
Yeah.
So it's like, where do you draw the line of like, oh, a flintlock's fine, but an automatic isn't?
Yeah, so the Plane of Kaladesh is based on the culture of India and the people in that region of the world, but it also has that steampunk feel that we were just talking about, where robots made of clockwork and intricate metalwork are abundant, as well as skyships and just massive mechanical constructs that move around. That technology is way past sword and shield or catapults, right? And it also has these massive Aether Tech, quote, cannons that run off of one of the plane's mechanical features, energy, which means, they've gone under some sort of industrial revolution in that plane, right?
Right.
And honestly, that's one of the weaker examples that I have, because steampunk is considered by me and probably a lot of people the logical steps forward after an industrial revolution in traditional fantasy, where a lot of it is still taught, like tied to that intrinsic magical properties and stuff like that. Yeah. But that being aside, let's talk about New Capenna. Most of the fan base, in all honesty, was very skeptical at the first glance of a demon mafia gangster town, where there's 5 families that fight over control of New Capenna, the city, and they're all led by demons. It's all very 1920s flapper-esque sort of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a little bit, people were hesitant about that. But even though a lot of magic is not that sort of gangster thing, there is an example that I want to point to from Ravnica, which we've been to 4 times, I think, and is one of the favorite places for players to visit, and we're going back there in the future. And that would be the seedy family that deals business in all of Ravnica, the Orzhov Syndicate. They trade in literal lives and money, as well as the spirits that they can, sort of influence and control. And so they're either gang adjacent or just absolutely a gang. And that's one of the guilds of Ravnica, one of the main things that's focused on every time that we visit. So the reason that I bring that up is there is some gang adjacent stuff, at the very least, in Magic already. And now in New Capenna, we have straight up cars. 1920s era's cars are featured in this set as like the vehicle mechanic. And they have at least one gun that I've found that is a Tommy gun. But instead of shooting lead, it shoots like lightning bolts. So it's still a little bit more magical. But if you just look at it, it looks like a Tommy gun. I swear to God.
Right.
And that's the card Arc Splitter. If you want to look it up. But still, as we get further from fantasy, we are still grounded away from the very real aspect of guns, the gunpowder killing machines that we have grown accustomed to in modern day, that we are getting away from when we play Magic the Gathering. But all of that was a very long-winded, rambling way to sort of build up to my biggest example, Ixalan, the plane of dinosaurs, vampires, and pirates. I'm finally talking about them. And it's only going to be brief, I swear. But on this plane, pirates have sail-powered ships, and they use crossbows for the most part. So still very grounded in fantasy. That's what you should expect. But my silver bullet, as it were, is their gunpowder siege weapons. They have cannons on these ships. They have fortresses shooting cannons. There's a card called Captain Ripley Vance that's not from this set, but she is from the plane, and her entire card is her standing in a field of cannons firing.
She's the one that has like 6 flintlock pistols as well, right?
Yeah.
Am I thinking of the... Yeah. So there are...
I could do a quick search just to make sure. But...
guns. That kind of brings back to my point of like, what is drawing the line on guns? Because guns are canon in Magic, whether or not you want them to be. There are certainly guns. So is it just an issue of they shouldn't have, like you said, an AK, an AR-15? Like, sure, I get bringing that realistic of a gun into the game would feel weird, but like just saying, oh, this kind of technology and having guns is like breaking my immersion of it. It's like, well, then in that case, Wizards of the Coast already absolutely shattered your immersion years ago at this point, right? Those are not new sets. I suppose in the scheme of Magic, it could be considered newer still, but like in terms of real years in time, it's been a couple years since we got those released, right? I remember Ixalan was right before Amonkhet, wasn't it? Or right after? It was right around there.
Ixalan might have been after.
One of the Ixalans, at least, because I remember getting Amonkhet cards to do a draft and looking at Ixalan cards at the same time.
Okay, so I just want to clarify. Ripley Vance, the card, doesn't have pistols on her. She has like shoulder-mounted cannons, and I can't find anything
even
that
bigger than fucking flintlock pistols in that case.
I can't find anything that just depicts a gun, like the classic trigger, boom, projectile fired. What you can find is tons and tons and tons of examples of cannons. So at least cannons are canon.
Right.
And I mean, these cannons that are canon go back as far as, what is this? This is Urza's Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Fodder cannon. Pay 4, sacrifice a creature. It deals 4 damage to target creature.
Yep.
Goblin cannon. 5th Dawn.
Goblin Bombardment has a cannon in it.
Yep.
I'm almost positive.
Let's see. What's another old one? Oh, Orcish Cannoneers has them lighting a fuse and loading a cannonball into the mouth of a cannon. So it's pretty obvious that they're using gunpowders there. And that's from Ice Age.
Mm-hmm.
Very old fucking set.
Old set, yeah.
So all that's to be said. If guns don't feel like magic to you, magic probably doesn't feel like magic to you in the way that you're envisioning it, if you include all of the cards.
Which, in fairness, I do want to say, if that isn't your feel, I think that's fine still. I think you're an idiot if you are constantly complaining about it and bitching about it, but like, you're 100% allowed to like hold that stance and be like, well, I don't want to build my decks with this kind of stuff, even though the power creep has just made it so good luck winning at that point. But like, you can hold that stance, just don't kill other people's fun. If I want to make a new Capenna deck that's completely themed around guns, like, don't bitch about me doing that because, oh, there's guns and this isn't very immersive to what I want it to be. Like, we're not playing Yu-Gi-Oh! From the TV show. These monsters aren't real. Your immersion goes as far as your imagination.
Yeah.
Be a little more fucking creative.
And I talk about like the choice of using UB cards a little bit later. But yeah, so, you know, cannons are at least canon, and guns are probably going to be canon in the near future, or something that is so adjacent to a gun that you can't ignore the fact that it's a gun, because we're getting a Wild West set, which I'm also fucking hyped for. Yeah,
I didn't know.
People are like, I don't want cowboys, sick. And I'm like, give me cowboys.
You're fucking
please.
stupid.
I want to have a cowboy next to a pirate in my deck. Okay,
absolutely.
But yeah, and then like my last sort of point is earlier this year, I think. Maybe it was earlier last year. I don't remember. God, it's been... Anyways.
Time's fake. Time isn't real.
Kamigawa Neon Dynasty is released, and they have computers in that set. The whole story is centered around stealing a reality chip, which is a computer chip that is also alive, you know, still like magic tinting on everything. But
yeah,
I mean, it's basically the cyberpunk plane now after this most recent visit. And
oh, for sure.
I think it allowed for a great new look at Magic. It's still grounded in the game, and it's revisiting an existing plane, but it is post-technological revolution, which is really fun, and we got a lot of great cards out of it. They didn't go with the whole like guns and stuff still. They have like cyberpunk ninjas and like demons and spirits and stuff is a big thing. But yeah, I mean, there's full on computer chips, and that was like the center point of that set. So
yeah, that was the whole point of it.
I personally disregard all of the feeling like magic arguments of Universes Beyond. So if a product like Fallout comes out and you're playing Fallout cards next to New Capenna and Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, I'm just going to be like, that's a cool card. Or I'm going to say, that's an OP fucking busted card. Because every time they produce a new card, it's got even more text for me to have to memorize on it.
Especially if it's from a different IP. That's like one of the biggest things we've always talked about.
Yeah.
When I play my 40k deck, or decks I should say, but I only play the Tyranids one, of like, they're not inherently synergistic. They're just all really good fucking cards. Like, every card that was printed in the 40k set, on average, just felt stronger than any standard card from Magic, because otherwise no one would have bought it unless they were already a 40k fan like myself.
Yeah. And now brings me to the next part of mechanics on Universes Beyond. And I'm just going to clarify, this is coming from 2 Commander players as like the main way, or pretty much the only way that we play Magic nowadays. That's how we're going to be looking at it. It's through this lens. I know that UB cards also impact formats such as Legacy and Modern, but for us, we just don't really fuck around with those sets, or those formats rather. So we're just going to be talking mostly from mechanical standpoints in regards to Commander. So, mechanically unique cards being released exclusively outside of standard legal sets or the story sets is a huge topic that people like to discuss. And so, as I understand it, we first saw this with the Walking Dead products. These were 5 unique legendary creatures and 1 unique equipment that all had a mechanic or a build around, or the card was doing something that no other card did. Even if, you know, what they do is found on other cards, it's what they do in combination with what else they do that is mechanically unique. So if you really like what they do, you have to build around that Walking Dead commander to have that unique mechanical property on your commander. And you couldn't find those on cards printed in the past. Now, one of the biggest issues in terms of distribution with this product was that it was a secret layer. So, limited time buy, they can't be opened in packs, and as I understand it, some regions in the world just do not have secret layers as an option to buy. So it's like gatekeeping people out of buying and purchasing those products if they want them.
Which gatekeeping is already enough of a fucking issue in Magic the Gathering.
Very true.
Outside of the player base, I mean, as well.
And those are all super fair points. But we did just get Wilds of Eldraine, and with Wilds of Eldraine, we got the Universes Within printings of the Walking Dead cards. Now, quickly, Universes Within is Magic flavored reprintings of those cards. So they did it with the Stranger Things cards and with the Street Fighter cards, and now they've done it with the Walking Dead cards.
Man, that only took 7 years to get the Walking Dead commanders printed in Universes Within or something like that?
Yeah, not 7 years, but certainly way longer than the Street Fighter. And honestly, to me, Universes Within printings doesn't really matter when we talk about this discussion. I just think I just want to bring new mechanics into Commander to see new decks, to let people build what they want to build and support different deck archetypes that don't get as much support. So if I sit down at a table and one player has a Street Fighter deck, another one has a Transformers deck, another person is playing Walking Dead, and the last person wants to play a deck based on Godzilla, one of the characters from Dungeons and Dragons or Godzilla or whatever it may be. Just let it happen. Let them flex their, IPs and their deck building abilities, and let them just play how they want. You can say the same thing about all of the canon Magic cards. Some people just want to play landfall decks, and while I think landfall is the biggest bullshit in the game, if they find it fun to make a deck that gives them advantage just from taking game actions that every other deck will also do, fuck it, let them have it. I will groan every time they draw 2 cards from playing a land and put 5 power and toughness on the board from playing that same land. I'm going to do it every fucking time. I'm also going to recognize that I can buy that same deck and just steamroll everyone playing Simic colors. But that's not what I want to do. And, the other thing that I want to point out is this community bitches about a lot of things. Like, I just went on a little rant about Simic and Landfall. And I think one of the reasons why Simic and Landfall is so strong in casual Commander is because stacks and tax, those things are so frowned upon in casual Commander that people just won't play with you.
Right.
So if you don't want to play with Universes Beyond, just don't play with that person that's playing a Universes Beyond deck. Just the same as if I don't want to play against somebody who's only going to play Landfall decks, then I just won't. And it's sort of this thing where it's like, nobody's forcing you to play the game, and I know that you want to play the game. So if it puts a sour taste in your mouth when Megatron shoots you with his tank's cannon, put that aside and just play the game. And just think of it as Urza built another gigantic robot that shoots shit, because that's also canon, you know?
Yeah.
Urza's the biggest character.
It came out of Kaladesh or something. Like, there's so many ways that you could justify it in your head.
Just don't look at their cards as often, you know? It won't piss you off so much. And so we'll put aside that whole mechanically unique things, and we'll just talk about how they're printing better cards in these Universes Beyond products. Wilson, what?
He wants to weigh in. He doesn't like Megatron.
What is your stance on Megatron, Wilson? I don't know. His tail's wagging pretty hard.
Oh, he likes Megatron. Okay.
Oh, he's coming up here. He wants to weigh in. He's showing great excitement towards Megatron. But okay, so let's talk about I guess the frustration around quote unquote best in slot cards that are printed exclusively in UB products. So Orcish Bowmasters is the most recent examples. This is straight from Lord of the Rings, which was as of recording the second to last set released. And I know already that it has huge effects in Commander. I've played against it once, and I see it on CEDH content all the time. It is a powerhouse of a card. And I also know that it's reshaped Legacy and Modern.
I'm not surprised. That card is fucking busted.
Yeah. It's from Lord of the Rings. And so it's like, now I have to use a Lord of the Rings card in my decks, which is like, maybe in Legacy and Modern, but again, we play Commander. If you don't want to use Orcish Bowmasters, just don't put it in your fucking deck.
It's not hard to not play a card.
Find something that takes its place. Now, I don't think there's anything that's quite as powerful as Orcish Bowmasters that is going to be able to take its place. But also, you don't always have to play with the most powerful cards.
That's one of my biggest things as someone that only plays Commander with friends. I don't ever go to like an LGS or play on the web. What's the web one that I'm blanking on? I always want to call it Scribeball, and that's not it.
Oh fuck, I haven't played in so long. There's a couple websites where you can just like hook up a webcam and just basically stream
play Commander online.
Your board state.
Yeah. I don't ever play on those, so I'm only playing casual ever, even if it's a higher powered casual. And if you feel like you need to be running the absolute strongest deck you possibly can with all of the current cards, I kind of view that as a you problem. Like, you're valid to want to do that for sure and have your deck go crazy well and be unchecked and fucking unstoppable. Like, I get that. We all want to have that moment. But if that's the only reason that you're playing is to have those insane cards and all of that, that's a you problem. Like, we're here to have fun and play some cards with our friends. I don't want to have one person win the game every time because they put an extra $500 into their deck that I simply didn't want to.
Yeah. So we have the issue of best in slot cards being printed in UB products, and then, you know, obviously there's the argument of just don't play those cards. But there is like the alternative of maybe they'll get universe within reprints. And that being said, I do understand that not all of them are going to get universe within reprints. I think Wizards of the Coast has even said that Lord of the Rings is not going to get reprints that are universes within.
Because it's already just, even if it's not technically canon within Magic, I'd say of all of the UB properties, Lord of the Rings is like the closest.
It's the closest,
that it
yeah,
could
for
be
sure.
Like, this could easily, if you were just like, oh yeah, Arda is a different plane in the Magic universe, it'd be like, yeah, that checks out. It's like a lower Magic, high fantasy setting. Yeah, that checks out. I can see that being part of the Magic overall world and not having like crazy effects on everything. I would say other than the gods, if they ever released the Ainur or something as cards, which they didn't. But like then look at Amonkhet and be like, oh, all of those god cards that are absolutely batshit insane, like that wouldn't even be out of place putting it that way.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's so obvious to see that UB cards are here to stay. So it's just like, at this point, just find a way to get on board, whether it's just, I mean, you could just proxy it and just put like Urza's face on a card if you'd rather that. Or, find some art from the internet or like an AI art thing or whatever. And just
that's kind of how I already look at especially anything that got a universes within reprint. Michonne is just a proxy of whatever the universes within card is.
Yeah.
Like it's just the same exact cards, same words. Yeah, exactly. So like it's all just a different kind of proxy, except it's Wizards legal. That's the only fucking difference.
Yeah. And I think the only thing that I will say is that I can see people's hesitancy going forwards. It's like, oh my god, are we going to get Harry Potter and Magic the Gathering? Blah, blah.
It's insane that we haven't yet, honestly.
But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I have about the mechanically unique cards. Is like, yeah, sometimes it sucks that the best in slot cards, so to speak, can only be from like a Universes Within product or what have you. But I mean, if you're playing Modern and Legacy, are you playing for the flavor of Magic, or are you playing to play the game and try and be the best at the game? So
exactly,
I don't really want to hear people complain about it too much. It's just
it's just such a old argument that it's like, all right, you do have some valid points, we've said them, but like, I don't know, just my biggest thing with any game that I play is let people have fun how they want to have fun, and bringing in new people into a game that you love should never be viewed as something bad. Like you said, one of our friends got into Commander specifically because they brought in Street Fighter cards. That's someone that you wouldn't be playing with if they hadn't done that.
Yeah.
And that should be viewed as a good thing in my mind. Like there are very few times where I would say, it wasn't quite worth it. Now, again, with the best in slot things, like if you're releasing absolutely busted cards where it's to the point of like, well, if you're not running these, you're wrong. Like you should be, like it's a cheap card and it's absolutely busted. Like, okay, not that a busted card would be cheap, but you know what I mean? Of like, I can see issues with that, and I'm certainly okay with those arguments, but overall, more players in a game is never going to be a bad thing.
Yeah, and then for all of the rest of the UB, they're mostly just reprints that are done through a secret layer, like Fortnite. Those are all just reprints of cards that already exist. So if you're foaming at the mouth that somebody wants a Fortnite card in their deck, you have huge issues because that card already exists mechanically. And maybe this person just likes Fortnite. Maybe they're a little bit young. Or maybe they're just like, look at how cringe and and funny it is that I have Fortnite in my deck. Who cares? Just play the game.
I'd be lying if I said I hadn't considered buying the full Fortnite set just to piss off a couple of our friends.
Yeah, just like I'm going to put the battle bus in all of my decks. Yeah. That's funny as fuck. Mm-hmm. Thank you, bus driver.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't see a huge issue with the secret layer reprints because, like, again, it's just proxying a card. I played online with a guy who played Oro, the pre-eminence commander. That's Esper, mm-hmm. and he proxied him as Thanos, and then he had all of his mana rocks, which were the 5 stones, right? And then he had...
I think I watched you play that.
Yeah, I think he did.
If I recall.
I think he did. Actually, and he had Gauntlet of Power, which was the Power Gauntlet. All of these are proxied, by the way, to have different art. And then he cast the suspend version of Balance, where everybody destroys all their shit based on like the number. And then he said the line, perfectly balanced, as all things should be. And that was awesome. It's funny.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
that's
so just
fun.
Like,
that's something you wouldn't have had.
Yeah, it's just
otherwise.
Like just let people he is a big fan of Marvel. Just let him do his Marvel thing. You know, don't be so pissed off about it. So that's pretty much all I got on UB. Outside of cards that we like, I just have a couple specific ones. Out of the Tombs from Warhammer it's an enchantment. It's black, and it says, at the beginning of your upkeep, put 2 Eon counters on Out of the Tomb, then mill that many cards. If you would draw a card while your library has no cards in it, instead return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. If you can't, you lose the game. So it gets rid of the lose condition of your library has no cards in it. And it doesn't outright win you the game. But if you can put your entire library into your graveyard while this is on the board, you're going to be reanimating creatures for free right onto the battlefield as a enchantment, which I think is super cool. I love those kind of effects that are just like, this thing that normally would lose you the game is postponed as long as this is here. There's the enchantment Lich, Lich's Mastery, all that stuff. You don't lose the game for having 0 life. All of those effects, I love that sort of idea of just skirting around the rules just enough while this card's in play, and then if it leaves play, well, you're fucked. You lose the game. I love that kind of thing. So that's a UB card from Warhammer that I love. The other one is Cyclonus the Saboteur, which is from Transformers.
That sounds like it, yeah.
The front side, which Wilson does not like apparently, is Cyclonus, and it says flying. Whenever it deals damage to a player, it connives, and then if its power is 5 or greater, convert it. The backside is Cyclonus Cybertronian Fighter, and it's a jet, and it says flying. It's 5/5. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, convert it. If you do, there's an additional beginning phase. That's untap, upkeep, and draw steps. Again, just like the Out of the Tomes, I like it because it gives you another beginning step, and that's a fun build around, I think, because this can be your commander. They just have as many upkeeps as you can and just pile on upkeep triggers. That would be cool as fuck. There's a Sphinx that does it. There's Paradox Haze that gives you an extra upkeep. This guy gives you an additional beginning step. I just think all of those things would be really fun to sort of pile on. But is there any specific cards that you wanted to highlight? Am I putting you on the spot here?
I don't think I was looking through them. I don't think I have any specific cards, but the thing that I would want to talk about for them is in a lot of the UBs with a lot of the alt arts that we get, I don't want to say solves an issue because I don't think it's actually an issue, but it gives Magic a little bit more of an edge of cool art treatments because they've definitely been getting better about that, even in like full sets and standard sets. But something I've always looked at with like mostly Pokemon, if I'm being honest, but like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! A little bit of, they get some absolutely fucking incredible art treatments with their full arts and even not full arts that, like, don't get me wrong, the Magic artists do an absolutely fantastic job. Almost all of the art looks really good. Even old arts I really am a fan of. But like, we get so much cooler stuff where other card games, you look at the, like, God, all of the fucking TikTok lives of people opening cards, and I look at all of these huge extended full art cards, and I'm like, man, I really wish Magic got shit like that, because they're cool, but like they're not as cool as these. And like, I'm not gonna start fucking playing Pokemon. That's insane. Fuck that game as a card game. But like, damn, their art looks really fucking good. And like, I feel like Magic doesn't have as much of that. There's certainly still good art in, like, God, the new lands. Almost every new land just gets me hard. They're so good.
That's funny that you say that, because a lot of the people that complain about Universes Beyond also complain about the fact that every card has like 6 treatments nowadays, and they hate it. Where I'm in the same boat as, God damn, if I love a card enough to build a commander deck around it and put another $200 into this hobby, I want it to look the way that I want it to. I want to be able to pick like which of these 4 copies of Gandalf the White I want to run, and get to choose the art that I want. That's pretty cool.
I've been looking through them as we've kind of been talking about this, and I haven't seen the Transformers cards that have like the shattered text box.
Oh, the shattered glass
around them.
Transformers. It's cool.
That looks so fucking good.
It's
like,
cool. It's
that
Transformers
kind of stuff is
still,
so
cool. People get butthurt about it, but like, just let me play with my cool looking cards. Fuck you.
Yeah, and like, I don't want, like, Hearthstone had the thing of gold cards where they're like animated a little bit and they cost extra to make unless you open them. But then when you have all of the cards in your deck gold, your hero becomes gold and their hero power does. Like, I don't want something like that of like every fucking card in my commander deck is this like crazy full extended art. I kind of do, but I also don't. I lean more towards like our friend does, where like your cards are normal, but your land base is like blinged to fuck. Yeah. Like, it's popping. Like, I'm here for that, but like, give me a cool commander art, because my commander is going to be out the entire game, whether or not they're in play. So like, give me a cool art for that. I thought the Lord of the Rings set, I really liked their treatment of it with like the circle of the ring around it and all of that. Like, I thought they did a great job with those. The Tom Bombadil art is like one of my favorite treatments of just any card, realistically. I think his extended foil art is really, really good. And I just like that Universes Beyond gives us the option of that. And that goes back to like, if you don't want to do it, if you want all of your cards to look the same, we have a friend that doesn't like when I play my old lands, because I was given a bunch of Magic cards from one of my dad's coworkers back in the day when they stopped playing, and they had like 4th edition lands or like really old ones. And I love those treatments. I think they looked really good. But people don't like those. But like, give me the option.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't want to run that, that's fine. There's no issue with that. But I want that, and it doesn't really change anything in the game. Especially if I just saw the robot chicken. What the fuck? Oh, that's an unset. Okay, that makes more sense. I was like, when did robot chicken get added to the fucking game? But I'm just a big fan of like, let me bling out my decks where I want to. I've already talked about it with most of our friends. I'm at the point where I'm just going to start proxying everything, which is the whole different episode on whether or not proxies are fine. But that's its own thing. But I like things that look cool. And Universes Beyond, on average, gives us things that just look cool. And I'm super here for that. Like, pretty much always. I can't think of anything where I'd be like, no, that doesn't make sense. You shouldn't do that. Actually, like, if you want your shit to look cool, have your shit fucking look cool. That's awesome. I'm always here for that.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm about to talk about cards that I don't like from Universes Beyond, but everything that I've said so far is still valid. Like, if you want to play UB, just play it. It shouldn't be that big of an issue, and people are making way big of an issue out of it than it should be. But the reason why I don't like, for instance, Dalsim is he's fucking strong. So
yeah, Dalsim is so fucking good.
He's a 1/3 for 2, a green and a white human monk that has reach. He has hexproof as long as he's not attacking. He has on him, whenever a creature you control with reach attacks, untap it, and it can't be blocked by creatures with greater power this combat. So pseudo vigilance, and also sort of skulk. And then it also says whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat to a player, draw a card. So basically, for 4 mana, you're giving all of your creatures vigilance and skulk, especially if you build your deck around him. You're drawing 3 cards each combat, and he has hexproof, because why would you attack with him if you could just hold him back and just keep this effect on the board? It is it's hard. It is like so hard to get any sort of edge over this card.
It's almost like pseudo eminence. Like, I know it's not, because
you just have to cast it once,
but it's just like cast him and then never touch him again.
Yeah, you have to do so much work to get around.
He should never attack. He should never tap. Like, he just sits there and does his thing.
It's going to take some collaboration from the board to get rid of him. Like, short of a board wipe, you can't get rid of just Dalsim. So you have to do a lot of work around him. And then the other one that I have an issue with is from Warhammer. And again, it's just because there's just too much going on with this. This is Marnius Calgar. He's 2, a white, a blue, and a black. Legendary creature, Astartes Warrior. He has double strike. He's a 3/5. 3/5 with double strike. He has Master Tactician, which says whenever one or more tokens enter the battlefield, whenever one or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, draw a card. So every time you create a token or more than one token, you draw a card. What the fuck? That's crazy.
Yeah, that's so good.
And then, if you think that's bad, he also has a mana sink ability on him that costs 6 mana of any color that says create 2/2 white Astartes Warrior creature tokens with vigilance. That just says, if you can't do anything else, you can pay 6 mana, put 4 power and toughness on the board,
and
draw a card. And it's like, what the fuck? That is absolutely insane.
That's so strong for like a dead turn where you didn't draw anything off the top and you don't have anything to do. And it's like a little overcosted, but like it's also kind of not.
Yeah,
two mana 2/2s would be 4, and then drawing a card for 2 is just a clue.
Yeah,
really.
Exactly.
So like it's not even that overcosted. It's just you have to keep this one thing alive.
Yeah, and so I guess my issues with Universes Beyond is just stop making them so fucking good. I hope Ezio Auditore is just a 2/1 for 2 that says cannot be blocked on him. That'd be amazing.
I think that they're, like I said earlier, with the Warhammer decks, like, obviously I like them. Obviously I wanted to be strong. The whole joke with 40k is, can X solo Y when you're talking about 2 different universes? The whole thing is that all of 40k is so fucking overpowered that, like, the cards should be insane. So, like, am I happy in my heart that all of the 40k cards are strong? Yes. Do I think that that's healthy for the game? Fuck no, not at all. Like, the Tyranids deck is all based around 1/1 counters. That's like the whole point of it, because they're growing in becoming stronger. But it's not like there are a bunch of cards that are like, oh, if you do this, then you get +1/+1 counters, or do this thing and get them and then interact with them. Pretty much every creature card in that deck says X. It's X and then the cost, and they get that many +1/+1 counters. And if you can make X equal 5, they do another thing on top of that. So they get all of the +1/+1 counters, and they do something else that's probably way too fucking strong for what you're paying for it. Like, I don't think that's healthy for the game, but I do think it's fun.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't have been statted like that. They should have made all of those decks synergistic instead of just every card in this deck is good. That's a lot less fun in my mind than if they synergize.
Tyranids is probably the worst deck out of all of them too, because there's already so much counter support that for you to not be playing things like Hardened Scales or doubling season in that deck is kind of limiting the deck's potential. But
for sure,
that being said, it's still a strong deck right out of the box.
I've certainly won with that deck multiple times against decks that I should not have won against just because every card says print value.
Ian, is there any sort of Universes Beyond product that you wish to see come to Magic?
There are a couple that I'd like to see. I was thinking of that as we were talking as well. Obviously, I'd like to see Malifaux. I think that would be cool, and I do think it would actually
pretty well. Yeah,
I think that one would actually fit into Magic pretty well. Like their kind of Magic system. I'm sure there's a better example than saying it's like Kaladesh, but like it feels tangentially similar to something like that, of like using energy to power these things, where in Malifaux they're using their soul stones to do the same thing and like power all of these massive constructs and doing like pseudo magic-y things, as well as doing real like necromancy and real magic within there. I think that would be a fun one. I don't think Malifaux is a big enough property that it would ever fucking happen, but I think that one would be cool. I think Predator, I'm just talking about things we've talked about on the podcast. Okay. I think Predator would be a cool one actually as well. I think that would be just like a secret layer or something realistically, but just put in like the Predator is like, this is a commander that I can run. Probably put in Arnold's character, who I'm blanking of the name of. I haven't looked at Predator stuff in a minute. Dutch.
Sure.
Put in Dutch as a commander. I think that would be a cool one. I think something like that would be an interesting thing to play with. It would be very equipment heavy as well, which I know at least one of our friends would really like. I think that could be a cool Universes Beyond. And then obviously, I'd like to see RuneScape.
RuneScape would be so fun.
It would. The biggest thing I'd want to see, we talked about it at one point when we were considering making our own commanders to build around. The one I would really like to see is the Barrows brothers. In RuneScape, I'm not going to get into the story of what they are, but they're this very early, basically mid-boss that you can go grind out for some very good gear. But it's 6 brothers that have different combat styles of a mage, a ranger, and then 4 melee guys. I think if you could if there were a way to do those in, I'd say partners, but there's 6 of them, but like
Jesus Christ.
In a way of not having 6 commanders. Not having 6 commanders, of if you have all 6 of them in the deck, they somehow interact with each other. You would only have one as your commander for sure. Or the other thing that I thought of with that one is they all have weapons tied to them. If you had that in the way of like, I play Darok the Wretched, I can then go find Darok's axe.
Okay.
Or something like that.
So that can work like like Darok partners with his axe.
His axe.
And so when you play him
I am
from your deck,
very much
you can
not
search your deck
saying
for his
have
axe.
6 commanders. That would be
I was just about to say we just can't do that because
even I wouldn't
probably
say that.
Be 5 colors. Then
for sure.
That just thins your deck out,
so
6
much.
cards, or 5 cards more than a normal one would. And then you can just
that it would be busted.
Build it as good stuff.
And like that's what I would want to see from RuneScape personally, but like RuneScape's fucking massive. You could have so many different things.
Yeah, I want to see like the bosses
sets in that.
As like commanders.
The bosses would be sick. Neve would certainly get a card. She's a fan favorite for some reason. I don't know the story of RuneScape, but I know that people love her. Even though she dies, spoiler. But no one cares about this. No one cares about the story of RuneScape. It's fine. Yeah, she dies at the end of Monkey Madness 2. But other than that, like, I'm sure I could think of some other ones. I think something in the Dark Souls world would also probably work decently well within Magic. I think you could do something there. I'd love to see Bloodborne specifically. I mean, Sekiro could just fit into Kawagama somewhere in there. Probably not Neon Dynasties, but like the older Kawagama sets, because that's just all like Japanese history and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of IPs that they could draw on that would be not detrimental to, like you said, the feel of Magic, and they could like keep it in that realm.
Well, I also said I don't care, so fuck it.
Of course.
Like, what I'm going to talk about,
for the people that like do say it,
I want to see comic book heroes. I think it'd be so cool to have a Batman that says partner with Robin, and you could play Batman really cool. and Robin the deck. That'd be cool as shit.
That would be a very fun one.
Justice League, the Avengers, they could all have like their sort of friends within or friends forever sort of partner pairing thing, where like any of the Stranger Things cards can be paired with each other. You could have like a Justice League keyword, so any of the members of the Justice League, you can have 2 of them as your commanders, or of the Avengers, 2 of them as your commanders. I also want to see Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon.
That could be interesting.
And I think that sort of just writes itself into Magic. Like, the Targaryens love dragons, and also fucking them like their family members. But we could focus on the dragon part.
Well, hold up.
We should focus on the dragon part.
All right, fine.
So, like, let's say Daenerys Targaryen is a commander, and she has like a quest or condition to complete, and then when you complete it, you make like 3 dragons with like flying or something like that. That'd be cool to see.
I think if you did Daenerys, you could even do. Here's a concept for Daenerys specifically. You either complete something, or even, this might be a little too strong, when she is played, you create 3 0-1 eggs that all have the level up mechanic.
Oh, okay.
And then your dragons are like actually growing and like following like kind of the plot of the show of like, she has eggs and then they're baby dragons and then they're like little dragons, and then you fully level them up and have like full scale, like actual, like the strong dragons in the game.
Well, so
I think that could be something cool.
Yeah, and like House of the Dragon, there's Daemon Targaryen, who's a main character in the first season, and he's obsessed with hatching more dragons. So what I was thinking is, when he comes into play and whenever he attacks, create a dragon egg that when this dragon egg dies, sort of cascade or reveal off the top of your library, similar to Atla Palani, until you reveal specifically a dragon creature. And put that into play.
That would be pretty
I think that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, like, I just think there's so much that you could do that would like capture the Game of Thrones characters specifically. You could have legendary artifacts, equipments that are like, ice, the sword of House Stark. You could have any of the Valyrian steel weaponry, really. You could have, like Night's Watch commanders. You could have maesters that care about instants and sorceries, or playing cards from exile, or foretelling them, or whatever. You could have members of the Faceless Men from like Bravos that are like a shapeshifter style commander. I just think there's Universes Beyond just opens up so much of adding in IPs and cards of things that I love into the game that I love, and so I want more of it.
I was just scrolling through my Steam library and I came up with a couple more as well. One of them I think makes sense, and the other 2 are ridiculous and shouldn't ever be added to the game. The one that I think would work, that we're both fans of, is Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
I actually think Monster Hunter could, that's just put more dinosaurs in Ixalan.
Yeah, and more dragons.
That's it. Yeah, and more dragons. I think that one would just work on its own. Another secret layer I'd like to see. Call of Duty Zombies.
Okay.
I think you could do the main characters and then have wonder weapons as equipment.
Sure.
I think that'd be interesting. Shouldn't be in the game, but I think it'd be fun. I would like it. And then here's the one that absolutely should not be in the game, but I think you'll get a kick out of it. Bloons Tower Defense.
I'm here for it.
Right? I'm here Bloons Tower Defense. You have the hero monkeys as commanders, and then you could either build the monkeys, or you could have a way to build as the balloons and just do big, wide horde balloons, and then have the Moabs come in for like your big bombs is just game enders.
And I don't even want to hear.
That would be hilarious.
I don't even want to
hear. And there's already a balloon token.
Yeah, exactly. Balloon is a type. Legal. It's a type. It's a creature type.
A legal creature type. That already fits in.
When you are playing your Amiiboid Changeling, you can tap it and change target creature type to balloon legally. Wizards already did it, so just add Bloons Tower Defense 6 into Magic the Gathering, please. Thank you.
I think that's the last one that we want to see. I think we want to see that next. That would be sick. I'm here for Bloons Tower Defense. UB.
All right.
Probably Let's be real. Bloons Tower Defense unset.
Well, okay, unsets aren't even anymore. It's only like half of the set is
true. Yeah.
Completely weird. Like you can roll up to a commander game, take out your commander deck, set it down. You can have 2 partners and a companion, so basically 3 commanders. Mm-hmm. Then you have your stickers deck, and then you have your attractions deck.
Yep.
It's just funny things you can do in Magic. You know,
let
us do some more.
That's just a legal thing you can do. So yeah, I think that's a good coverage of UB on whole and just things that we would like to see that won't ever happen, but like it'd be cool if they were there.
To be honest, like the people that are complaining about Universes Beyond and stuff like that, it's time to just get over it and jump on board. Like one of your favorite IPs will come in, and as much as you say I don't want to see Doctor Who in Magic, it's here now, and you probably do want it. So,
and those cards look broken too. From what I've seen,
I think they're pretty balanced. They just do like really quirky things, like drawing off the bottom of your library. Which I think the biggest issue with that deck is you have to pick up your fucking library every time you draw a card.
I just don't want to do that.
Listen, what? You don't like Doctor Who?
He's getting riled up.
He does not like Doctor Who.
He's getting riled up over the Doctor Who cards.
He is not a fan of the 4th Doctor or whatever the fuck. I don't know Doctor Who.
4th? They're on like 14 or something.
I know, but the 4th is at least one that's been
doesn't
printed.
Like the 4th one.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
And I also don't like the 4th one because it's just Simic land bullshit with just a little bit of a stipulation.
Yeah, that's a pain in the ass.
It has to be a legendary land or an artifact land or a saga land that you play from the top of your library once a turn. And also you make food, so but yeah, I don't care when people start complaining about Universes Beyond because nobody's forcibly putting those cards in your deck. So if you are playing with one and you're complaining about it, it's on you at that point. So
just, like we said, let people have fun. This is a game, unless you're playing competitively in Modern or Legacy, and if you're playing competitive Commander, I don't care about your opinions. You're valid to want to play that way, but like, I simply don't care. So get on board. Let people have their fun.
Well,
this is a game that we play. If you're not playing this game for fun, then you're coming at it with a completely different perspective from without doing research. I'm willing to say a majority of the player base. I think most people want to have fun when they're playing this game. They want to win, but they just want to have a good time. And if you're just bitching about that stuff and killing other people's fun, you're the issue.
Yeah. And I will say, in competitive Commander, they don't care about having fun. They're playing to win. And so they are putting in the best cards, wherever they come from. They don't care. There's a mono red Magda deck that's actually sort of popping up right now because it can go infinite pretty easily with creating tokens and then putting in the win condition directly from your deck into play. And one of the best cards in that is actually it's called Clown Car, and it's from Infinity.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, so stop complaining about UB cards. You guys are being idiots, and you're complaining about the wrong things with Magic. What you should be complaining about is just every card gets better, and Wizards is printing way too much product.
That's the biggest one. That it's a different discussion, but talking about gatekeeping of like, so many people are locked out of this game specifically for the price point.
Yep.
And that is not a Magic the Gathering exclusive issue. That is an every card game issue. If you want to be competitive, you have to put money into the game. That's just how card games work. I understand that. But this is the game that we play, and it's shitty that people get locked out of playing what they want to play because you need a 4 set of this card, and that card is $30. So the 4 cards in that deck are already $120, and then you still have to put in 56 other cards. And that's just stupid. But that's an entirely different discussion on its own.
Yeah, so...
The flavor text of Clown Car is it runs on laughing gas. God. But yeah, I think that's all we really have to say about this. We definitely have some opinions on it, but it just boils down to let people have their fun. Let people play this game that we all love the way that they want to play it as well. And if you're the one killing fun, you're the issue. It's your fault.
Yeah, I agree.
But with that, I've been Ian.
And I'm always Tyler.
And we hope you have a great rest of your weekend, day, night, whenever you happen to be listening to this. And we hope you tune in to the next episode.
Give me Assassin's Creed cards already, damn it.